Okay, so Beacon Homes. So I wanted to check this thing out. Went through and I pulled up a bunch of tabs for you just to kind of see, when it comes to automation and those, and like, systems and that sort of thing. Obviously, I need some visibility into those systems in order to comment on them. But I can talk about lead generation. I can talk about what you've got going on, and we can see if it's something that sparks interest for you. So first things first, when I land on the page, I'm greeted with this. So my thought process is that if someone lands on this page, they might be familiar with you somehow. So they're seeing signs, they're seeing something out in the wild, so to speak, that they're not, this isn't from SEO. This is from just exposure to being exposed to you in the community. I don't know, like when I thought this was like a gardening thing, just because there's a picture of a gardener here and then it says puts roots down. So I didn't realize this was some sort of advertisement. I would suggest changing that, making it a little bit more direct. Hey, save $1,500 off of closing costs or whatever it is, if that's what you're trying to do. And it blocks the view of whatever your call to action is here. Notice there's not much of a call to action. It's like learn more. So again, it's not meant to be like negative, but there's not a call to action. So it's almost like you know about us. So do you want to learn? Do you want to learn more? I'm inviting you to learn more. And although this is a very sort of attractive, appealing image of the person, and the way you could talk about this in marketing would say that this image is the result that you're trying to advertise to someone. Hey, you're going to have a happy house where you can, make a flower arrangement. I'm not seeing the house itself. So if I'm a home buyer, I want to see the details, which you guys are known for. So when I look through this, one of the first things I always look at is, how does Google see it? So Google sees it as, where's that page? All right. So this is the way Google experiences your home page. Now, some of your other pages are fine, but this is the home page that's kind of stands out. And the reason is that basically every element you have here is sort of a JavaScript element, and it's very attractive. But when Google sees it, it doesn't load those things. Now, there is a technicality there. If you want to talk about that, your web guy is probably going to be like really annoyed that I even brought it up, because there's documentation that says it can see it. I've just seen where if traffic was a problem for you organically, this may be one reason behind it. That's all. And what I found is that if this renders in text, like this one, these all render just fine. They're not JavaScript elements. They're actual HTML elements, which means that when Google lands on the page, they're seeing the text here. That's all I'm saying, and it's just not happening here. And in my experience is that Google will take the lazy route when it wants to render these pages and says, okay, if I can't read it, then it doesn't count. So, and why that's important is that sometimes it won't follow your links. In fact, when I'm up here, if I'm hovering my mouse, I don't know if you can see it, it's just, there's actually not a link. Contact is the only link. And so when Google visits your page, it's going to go there and then hit contact, because that's the only real link on the page in the menu, and then it's going to see these other content. So one of the first things I think could help with your organic content might be to you can keep the design, you can keep the image even. It just might be to change these into sort of HTML elements. So that'd be my first suggestion. I also would think, my first suggestion would be, change the call to action, and then work on that. Now, I think, again, this is very similar to a lot of builders. Here's the communities that we're in. I would list all of them. I would probably make custom build like an option up here. Start your custom process and remove, these, and then put your most popular communities, kind of in order of popularity versus just sort of listing them. You guys have a big presence in Edmond, so I would say maybe lean into that, because that's also where your Google profile is. And then on the communities, when I click on this interactive thing, it doesn't work perfectly for me. And I wanted to really do this. You guys have some really, really, really good, high quality work. But then you look at some of the URLs and everything else, it's almost like you guys have put a lot of effort into the sort of production value of what you're offering, but not just sort of dotted the I's on the web campaign. That's what it looks like to me. And then where did it go? There was the floor plan. Oh, I really liked the idea of this, but it's a completely different website, so you're losing the value of the user being in the page. I do like that it has all these images, but I would just include it on the website. Just put it, have your web people make a page for the floor plan. So the Concord, when you click on this, just has this, but then has all those other images of it, instead of making you go to this interactive floor plan. And I would run a test. You can get Microsoft Clarity for free, and you can just see if people are even going here. If they're not, then throw the images up here, because most home buyers are interested in images. And I would just make this fourth image, the floor plan, and then maybe these images that are included in all this. So I would take all of this content. This is really good. This is all, like I said, beautiful stuff here, and I would just put it on the page itself. So that way the user, the home buyer, doesn't have to go there. All right. So the other part of lead generation is obviously just seeing what you're doing on social. I couldn't find any Google ads, so I don't know if you're running Google ads or not on your URL, but I couldn't find any just with a quick search. But I did see, you're doing great work on YouTube. This is just super high quality stuff. It looks to me like you could put some descriptions here. I noticed on Instagram, it looks like you guys are using some sort of automation. I mean, anytime you see this many emojis, it's probably automation. Yeah, I mean, look at that. So if you're using some sort of AI tool to help you post, I would do the same thing with your video content. So you have a description, you have tags. You've already got the chapters, which is maybe something that's automated by YouTube, but that'd be something I would look at. And because you're already doing something here, so why not just replicate it there? It's like a copy and paste. And then the same thing goes for Facebook. Again, really high quality. I can imagine people are really engaging with this because it's a great photo. So then I looked at your ads. Your ads kind of suffer from the same situation that your website does, is that you've got really, really great content. I imagine you're getting some results from this, but there's not a strong call to action. So if you wanted leads, so if you wanted home buyers in particular, if you've got salespeople that can handle home buyers, then I would run more of a direct response sort of ad where you're calling, you have a strong call to action. Here's the, here's the thing that you're getting with this. So my guess is this would be more of the engaging ad because it looks more engaging to me. So let's just click on the ads and see what it is. This one in particular, where does it go? So it just goes to this page. So I think this is a missed opportunity. If you're not getting the leads that you want, then when they click on this, I would say get more information. I would send them to a landing page that has this. Although this could be considered a landing page, so I'm clicking on that. You can see that it's not really formatted great, and then it again, to me, I kind of like vanilla stuff. So when I look at this, I'll look, wow, it's wide, it's over here, the button's over there, so it's hard to see. Everyone's eyes are going to be on this side of the page because where the images are. You may even consider doing this, forcing them there, or I think this popped up last time when I was here. This looks like some sort of automation. Again, it's fine. So I would want to look to see how this is integrated. Same thing here. Just really trying to encourage someone to fill out some information so you get it. And you can offer them something. $1,000 off, free, stainless steel upgrade on appliances or something to try to get them to fill that out. And then when we talk about automation, there's automation, there's really systems, right? So you've got the leads that come in, and how do you capture their information? So that's kind of the first part of the whole thing. And then what happens after that capture? So if someone actually fills this out, do they get a do they get a text from you? It looks like if you're using this sort of thing here, are you using like Go High Level or something, so that when someone fills this out, you're sending them a text message and you're following up with them? Do you have a system, since you're a builder, do you have a system of capturing either revenue from buyers that don't buy in the neighborhood, or do you have a system for capturing like just information? If they don't buy at Brentwood, for example, and they buy at another neighborhood, are you able to figure out why, like what your competition is? So it really depends a lot. So in our area, I live in the northern Atlanta area, the builders can be pretty cutthroat, and so the idea of understanding what your competition is offering can be really big, but it might not be that big over there. I don't really know. I would emphasize more, particularly the kitchen. Kitchen's always the thing that home buyers want versus the young lady right here. So that's just my opinion. You can decide what you want. I'd also elevate these communities, maybe even up here or right below this kitchen. I think if I was to redesign it, I'm kind of going off the cuff, but I would probably put the kitchen up front. Maybe try to show a floor plan just to see if that's the kind of information someone wants. So like if they're more analytical, they'll be more drawn to the floor plans. And then I'd have the communities. In fact, I might even do a featured communities of the ones that you want, including offering some sort of special, move-in special or whatever, with like a little banner on the left side there. But hats off to you. The content is just really, really good. The videos through the walkthrough of the houses I thought were great. So I think you have a lot of the tools to plus this if you wanted to plus it. If you want more organic traffic, I think it's right there for you. All you got to do is a little bit more. I liked the reason. You guys had like what is it about? I liked why beacon. There's like a little thing with this button. I really like these videos. I feel like you could potentially have some blog content out of this stuff if you wanted it. Like how to inspect a house. Why does Beacon Home, welcome home inspectors when other builders don't? Why does Beacon like real estate agents? I also don't see anything about real estate agents on this. So I don't know how Oklahoma is here. Most of the time a home buyer is going to have an agent. And so some builders embrace that and some builders don't. Some builders don't want any agents because it's more money for the builder. And others offer incentives to the agent. So there would be like an agent button right there. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Again, I just went off the cuff, just trying to look at this thing. I really think it's again, you got a lot of really great things. I've seen a lot worse. So for a home builder, you guys are doing a lot of the right things. And it doesn't look like, again, just based on my initial impression, it doesn't look like lead generation is really like the focus of this site. It's more about learning more. And I think if that's the case, then you're doing a great job there. So hope this helps.